There are 472 luxury condominiums, a 5-star hotel, and on the 16th floor there is a bar and restaurant. If you look up at the building, you'll notice 3 setbacks in the building. Those setbacks are important to help prevent wind shearing. Now, if you're familiar with the architect Adrian Smith, he is responsible for the tallest building in the world. Does anyone know where that is? Dubai, very good, the Burj Khalifa. Imagine taking this building and putting it on top of itself. That's about how tall that building is. Now, folks, the next building I'm going to highlight doesn't look like much, but it's actually a very important building here in the city of Chicago. It's this black building here on our right. This is the American Medical Association, formerly the IBM headquarters. The first 10 floors of the building is the Langham Hotel. It was built in 1971 by the great German architect Mies van der Rohe. Now, Mies van der Rohe's philosophy was less is more. He didn't believe in any fancy ornamentation. All you see are those black vertical steel I-beams and glass, all about right angles. Well, you know, he was from the Bauhaus School of Architecture in Germany. He came here to Chicago during World War II, his international style of design. Now, many of his students embraced his design. You'll see other buildings that look like that here in Chicago. However, he had one student taught him. You know how I know that? This is Marina City, 1964 and 1967, by the architect Bertrand Goldberg. Now, Goldberg was a student of Mies van der Rohe. His philosophy was, there are no right angles in nature. Why should there be right angles in architecture? You have 2 60-story concrete cylindrical residential towers. Each floor is like a giant pizza pie. Each apartment's like a slice of pizza. So you enter narrowly, it lines out. Imagine trying to decorate something like that. Now, Goldberg, if you take a look at the most iconic photographed buildings here in the city, if any of you remember the film The Hunter with Steve McQueen in 1980, he drove his car up the 13th floor parking lot into the Chicago River. If any of you are looking to grab lunch or dinner later on, you have 2 options off here on your right, Pizzeria Portofino and then RPM Seafood above that. Now, if you were living here in the city in the early 1900s, about 100 years ago, the only types of buildings you'd see on either side of the river is this red brick warehouse-looking building here on our right. This is the Reed Murdoch Center. It was built in 1914 by the architect George Nimmons as a grocery warehouse. It was also home to the Encyclopedia Britannica. Do me a favor, look at the clock tower in the center. Count, there are 6 bays of windows to the right of the clock tower. However, you'll find that there are only 5 bays of windows to the left. Believe it or not, they had to cut this building in 1935 when they widened out the LaSalle Street Bridge. So that building is not even. It might drive you crazy looking at it. Chicago's a very environmentally friendly city. We're really trying our best to keep the lake and the river clean. It's also reflected in the architecture here. Take a look at this building on our right. This is 300 North Chilton. It received the highest award an energy efficient building can receive, LEED Certified Platinum. That means leadership in energy and environmental design. 80% of the building is made of recyclable material. It has a green roof, and it actually circulates river water into the building as a form of cooling. Get your cameras ready. Take a look at this beauty here on our right. This is the world famous Merchandise Mart. It's classic Art Deco design, limestone with vertical setbacks. Now, the building was originally built to house the Marshall Field warehouse. It's 4.25 million square feet, takes up 5 acres of land, has 500 showrooms and 8 miles of corridors. Do you guys know that up until 1992, that building had its own zip code? Now, Joseph P. Kennedy, the rental residential building. You have a new Salesforce office building, and then on the other side is Wolf Point West. It's a 46-story rental residential building. But what's historic about this area of land right here is this is where the earliest settlers to Chicago laid down their roots. No standing on the benches in the back, please. No standing on the benches.
Sit down.
It's a very historic piece of land here. This is where our earliest settlers laid down their roots. So there were taverns, cabins, and stores on a very muddy plot of land. And it's where they encountered the Native Americans who referred to the land around them as Chicagowa, which actually has 2 translations. The first, big and strong, and the second, stinky onion. We prefer the first translation. All right, folks, we're at the junction of the river. This is where the 3 branches come together. We're on the main branch. That's the north branch and the south branch. What you need to know about those buildings behind us is just west of them are active railroad lines for the Metro and Amtrak trains going into Union Station. Take a look at this building right here with the narrow base. That's 150 North Riverside, built in 16 by the architects Gesch Partners and Associates. Look at the base of the building. It's only 40 feet wide. It's about the width of our boat. They have 16 10-ton caissons that go deep down into bedrock. That supports the building at the base. Look up though. How do you prevent the building from being knocked back and forth in the wind?
Dekat, Lola, dekat. Cuba, look. Keep on
Isn't it
facing.
exciting? There the lake is coming into the river. The water.
Water breakers naked. I don't know what kind of party it was, but they evicted the guy out of the lighthouse in 1979, so it's been automated ever since. There was talk that they were going to turn it into an Airbnb, but the catch is you'd have to swim on it, so that was definitely the Folks, if you look here on the right, I want to talk about the height of buildings here. If you care, again, these Riverside gates are going to begin opening here shortly. So this is the river getting fed. And roughly 1 million gallons of water is going to pour into the river at this point. And this, by the way, is the cleanest the river water is at this point.